ladies and gentlemen.
Yo, baby, I'm coming for ya. Yo, baby, Rob Scott.
What's up, my boy?
How we feeling, man? You staying warm in there?
Hell nah,
Let me see that. Let me see that chin beard. Got some icicles hanging from that joint.
man, I just you know, it's cold in Chicago, y'all,
Man,
boy. Jeez.
first, before we start the show, bro, gotta let the people know. Obviously, there's people who don't have social media, who don't have the internet, who don't have access to finding out these kinds of things. And if that's the case, you know, we do our due diligence of trying to find a way to let people know what's going on in the world. The CTA trains and buses are running now more than ever for people in the night. Gotta go somewhere, gotta stay somewhere, got nowhere to be. The shelters are open. There's a bunch of places open right now in Chicago. Just find, you know, your local alderman or your local place where you find news in your neighborhood. Make sure you stay warm. Make sure you got everything going on that you need: blankets, food, heat, whatever. Because it's gonna be a rough week. I ain't gonna lie. So Rob posted it earlier, and I love that. That's why doing shows with Rob is a blessing. Because this ain't a Chicago motherfucker. This is a Chicago motherfucker. Like, this man knows what it's like being here. We negative 10 degrees right now, Rob. We 10 toes deep in the snow right now, and I can't feel any of them, bro. Like, bro, it's disgusting out here. But with that being said, man, it's not getting any better. The phones are dead cold at Hallis Hall, Rob. We're gonna get these cats out the way, and then we're gonna get into some NFL playoffs, and we got some NBA trade talk going on. We got a great show, but you know we got to do our due diligence.
Hold on. Also, too, got to do my due diligence. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
As a black man in America, as we know today is Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and you know we know what Martin Luther King meant to us, not just us as black people, but us as citizens, bringing out the humane side of things, and telling everybody in the world, which includes you know people of different races, people of different genders, different religions, that we all deserve equality. So
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying? We want to, continue to live on, keep his legacy living through us and living the right way. So happy MLK Day to all those people out there who believe in equality
Yep.
and believe in treating people like people, man. So shout out to y'all and shout out to the King, Martin Luther King Jr. Dr. Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. You gotta include all them titles
That's
when we talk about the great MLK.
I mean, you know, like, we have that conversation all the time, and I remember, like, growing up as a kid, you just think, like, especially when you're a shorty, like first grade, second grade, that's just a day off, bro. You're just
Yeah,
living, you know. But as you continue to learn about the history of MLK and what he stood for, it's far more than just fighting for race. I mean, this man did so many different things, and I love that you included that because, bro, I mean, it's like it was a side mission to end racism. It was like a
yeah.
side mission. Like, this man has so many different lanes that he was in, and you would think that, oh yeah, he was just locked into one thing. No, this man was a doctor. This man was a man of God. This man was a man of the people and doing so many different things. So, you know, we always want to commend and acknowledge those who have come before us: Frederick Douglass, MLK, Malcolm X. You know, the list goes on of amazing people in Chicago and other cities throughout the world. So happy MLK Day to everybody.
Happy
Um,
MLK Day, man.
Unfortunately, Chicago had no part in MLK Day today because they had to cancel damn near every event that they were going to hold for him. It's too cold. I mean, we gotta figure this out, man. Rob, what are we thinking, bro? Moving to Florida? We moving to Tennessee? Where are we going,
Hey,
bro?
I just know the older I get, the more I hate the cold. So,
No, literally,
but
like,
you know what though? The craziest thing about Illinois and Chicago is we're kind of safe from like real life natural disaster.
Real problems,
You know
bro.
what I'm saying? Like we won't get no mudslides here. We don't
Sand
get
tornadoes in Arizona, bro.
we don't get tornadoes
No,
pretty much. You know what I'm saying? We're not gonna get tsunamis and things like the hurricanes. So, it's almost hard to leave Illinois when you think about that from
right.
a
You
safety
remember what I
perspective.
told you over the summer? Remember we had that real bad storm. If you're from Chicago, you remember that all the sirens were going off.
Yeah.
Get in your basement. I was taking a nap upstairs. My mom come up, hey, get in the basement. I look at her, I said, I will die on mine right now, knowing there's no tornado coming, bro.
There's
Hey, I
nothing
said,
coming.
if one comes, take me away.
There's
Because
nothing
I ain't
coming.
going, I'm taking a nap,
I
bro.
ain't saying trees don't get blown down, but what I'm saying is
Right.
this not Twister.
I'm talking like Wizard of Oz type shit. Like, what are we talking about, bro? But listen, we got some crazy shit going on, bro. Rob, me and you had this conversation a lot. We disagreed about it, but I feel like we've also come to a place of understanding. The Chicago Bears are holding on to Matt Eberflus for the 2024 season, not beyond, but they have promised the 2024 season.
Yeah.
Luke Getsy has been fired as the offensive coordinator of the Chicago Bears.
Thank you, Lord.
I mean,
Thank you, Lord.
If I'll tell you what, I mean this with my heart. If Luke Getsy didn't leave, I was probably like, what? Okay, I'm done. You know what I mean? Like, I can't do this anymore. If they were gonna give him, if you would have told me in a world that they say, okay, well, we value Luke Getsy, we'll bring in Caleb Williams and see what happens. I was gone. I was out the door. I heard someone say that on the radio. I was out the door, bro. It was not happening. It was not going down that way.
They still not out the chopping block yet because if they get rid of Justin Fields,
well, Luke is gone. That's all.
I'm not rooting for the Bears next year. I won't. Especially if Caleb Williams is our quarterback, I won't do it.
I can't even be mad at you, bro. And we heard today that Caleb Williams has declared for the NFL draft.
Officially.
You know, we heard now Rob made a statement that he still stands on. You know, like this was just Rob airing out his feelings. This had nothing to do with the post in general, but there was a post going around on Twitter that had hundreds of thousands and millions of over 1.5 million people responded to this tweet from some asshole who had fake knowledge about what was going on. Just made a tweet saying that, hey, Caleb Williams said he ain't declaring until the Bears trade the pick. Hey, listen, bro, like if you guys fell for that, I hear you. You know, it happens. You know, you see something on Twitter, it blew up. Over 1 million people see it. It has to be true.
I shared it.
But Rob shared it, but he didn't acknowledge.
I don't believe it though.
No. Right? You were just saying it's fuck Caleb. That's all you were saying.
Yeah, know, and no offense to him. I don't know the kid personally,
right?
But I've chosen who I want to lead my team as 100%. The quarterback, and it's not Caleb Williams.
No, 100%. And I think, you know, we're at this point right now, Rob. Before we get to Fields, I want to go there with you about Flus. I want you to take me through a walk. Take me on a walk with you. You know, we're going on a little bike ride. I'm in the little one, you in the big one. We on them little mopeds. You feel me?
Yeah.
Talk to me about why you were okay with Matt Eberflus keeping his job in 2024.
It's simple. I think Matt Eberflus has garnished the respect of his team. And I think that's huge when you think about coaching. Like, excuse me. Let's look at the Las Vegas Raiders for a second.
Right.
Under the leadership and under the helm of Josh McDaniels, they look like a completely lost team. Right. Nobody trusted him. Nobody had faith in the Raiders organization. And they get rid of him finally. Mm-hmm. And they give a guy like Antonio Pierce a chance. A linebackers coach. You want to talk about a hell of a promotion. A linebackers coach was promoted to head coach. Interim head coach, so to speak. But you can see what happens when the team believes in you. They started to play completely different. And we started to see that with Eberflus in the second half of the Bears season.
Right.
We can see that once he got the correct personnel on defense, that defense started to come away. You can see the positive impact he was having on the Justin Fields and actually showing Fields, I believe in you. Because a lot of coaches, during the time where Tyson Bagent was becoming the new hotness.
Yeah.
For about 2
weeks.
Yeah, but some coaches would have just said, okay, Fields, pack it in. We're going to run and see what Tyson is about because we're actually getting some W's under Tyson. The whole plan was when Fields feels better, he takes back over as
Right,
the starting quarterback of this team. And even you can tell that Fields respected that.
right.
And he was there for Tyson. He was
And
there for the
yeah,
team.
I was gonna say you even saw him embrace Tyson, and they
Yeah,
they seem to have an amazing relationship. You seen, listen, I mean this in the most non-pause way possible.
yeah.
Hey, Tyson's his brother, man. Tyson's valid. Like I think they all respect him. The culture respects him. The league respects him.
I
Have you
think
seen? Have you
Tyson
seen
can
that
go
man
somewhere
without
and
a
be a
shirt?
good like Gardner Minshew or something.
Hey, Rob, the real talk, no pause,
Yeah,
no resume. But have you seen that man without a shirt?
no.
Full side back tat, sleeves. I mean, the man's valid. The
Oh,
man's valid.
young Randy Orton.
Man, he like that. He got a little Machine Gun Kelly in him. Like he doing his thing, bro. And I'm talking about Wild Boys. I'm talking about laced up Machine Gun Kelly. I ain't talking about none of this emo punk rock shit wearing pink leather pants. I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about laced up, straight out Ohio, Cleveland, stand up type shit. But nah, bro, like I'm with you. But where I always have drawback, right?
Yeah,
Flus, I have never disagreed. The defense after bringing in Montez Sweat and bringing a real pass rush, because I talked about how I couldn't judge him fully until you have all cylinders on deck. Now,
yeah.
if you would have told me, "Oh, we don't have a middle linebacker," boo, we can't run a defense. Okay, you know what I mean? Jack Sanborn ain't making that much of a difference. But a pass rusher on the edge, a legitimate pass rusher, is one of the more important positions when running a defense. Now that you have that on top of Montez Sweat, on top of Yannick Ngakoue, on top of the dogs, Tremaine Edmonds and TJ Edwards, and don't forget the Pro Bowler himself, Jalen
Mr.
Johnson.
Jalen, Double J, man.
Come on, come on.
Woo!
Like that. Like that. What'd he say? He said like that right after
Hey,
his
pay that man. We talking about all pro, baby.
But yeah, he did get snubbed out of an all pro first team. I will say that. But
That's all good though,
I
but he's a
believe he
pro
made
bowler.
I believe he made all pro second or third team, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
With that though, Flus really did turn this defense around, and I love that. But Rob, I'm gonna ask you a question. And it's probably one of the more important ones. It gets some people a little quiet. It gets a
Mm-hmm.
little people a little nervous.
Mm-hmm.
Who was the head coach of the Chicago Bears in 1985?
Mike Dicker.
Okay, now was Mike Ditka offensive or defensive minded?
Defensive.
Offensive. Buddy Ryan.
Yeah, but
Buddy Ryan was the defensive
I
cat.
I go with
Now
somebody like Dicker definitely had an influence on that defense.
he did, but when you look at what he was doing as a play caller, as what he brought to that offense, Dicker ran the offense, Buddy ran the
Ryan,
defense.
yeah,
And that was it. Now, what bothers me is what we're going to do as Bears fans is say, "Hey, man, it's a team built on defense. We got to bring in a Lovie Smith. We got to bring in a Vic Fangio. We got to bring in a Matt Eberflus." I love that idea, right? But we always talk about the monsters of the Midway in Chicago being a defensive first team. The only time we ever won a fucking Super Bowl was when the head coach was what? Offensive minded.
but can we really say that though? The Bears were a run defensive team,
And that's
so we were gonna kill you at Walter Payton,
exactly.
and then the defense was gonna come do their thing.
Exactly. But
Can we
when you
really
look at
say
the
that they were
85
that
Bears,
offensive minded?
when you look at the
What
85
who was the
Bears,
quarterback? McMahon.
McMahon, Willie Gold, all
Yeah,
them cats.
that's what I'm saying, man.
Hey, McMahon was
Come
a
on.
dog.
Yeah,
With the Bears tenured, he was when you talk about what he did with the Packers, he won a Super Bowl with the Packers. It was like whatever, goes over to other organizations. It's like whatever. But his time with the Bears, the man was doing it. We ain't gonna forget now.
but
But
that what I'm saying is our defense is always. I mean, our mo. Our modus
right.
operandi has always been we run the ball and we have a tremendous defense.
And what has that gotten you?
It almost got us a Super Bowl ring in 2006 had we not brought in Rex Grossman.
Listen, I almost got a college. You feel me? I almost graduated college.
Hey, I get you, but it's not like that we haven't seen this team be successful under that.
Right.
We just saw a team not too long in the 2000s win like that too, the Ravens.
That was how long ago?
Somebody who had when did the Ravens win? In 2009 or something? Yeah, I think it was 11 or 12.
Something like that.
Let me see when it
because Joe Flacco was still in that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like the point while you researching that though, like the point of all of it that I'm trying to get through is since the very beginning, Rob, George
2012.
2012. See, we knew what we was talking about.
Yeah.
But the point of it is, like, look at it. You get the George Halas way, right? I love it. I respect it. Listen, Rob, I have never argued with you. I would love this defense to be top 3, number 1 defense in the league, right?
Yeah.
But in the 21st century, in the year 2024, Rob, I can't do this revolving door of offensive coordinators coming in and out. You answer me this question, and I'll leave it alone.
2013, my bad.
You ready for this?
Yeah, I'm listening to you.
Jim Harbaugh, let's say for sake of argument, right? Matt Eberflus is the head coach. I'm going to ask you this right now. Does Jim Harbaugh take an offensive coordinating job for the Chicago Bears?
No.
Does Eric Bieniemy? No. Does Ben Johnson? Maybe Eric, but I think think this is the year. Ben Johnson, offensive coordinator, right? Oh, man, he's killing it with Detroit. Just won his first playoff game with the Detroit Lions. First time in over 30 years. I have not even.
If he leaves Detroit, he's not leaving to be another OC.
So you've proven my point here, right? Greg Roman, amazing offensive coordinator for the Baltimore Ravens since 2018, helped make Lamar Jackson into what he is today. They're talking about him leaving the Ravens to be OC for the Bears. You know why all of these things are a problem, Rob? Because all of these guys are having so much success as offensive coordinators that they're looking for head coaching jobs. The problem when you have a defensive-minded coordinator as your head coach, bro, what legitimate, proven, real offensive coordinator is going to come through Chicago's doors? We're going to have to step on a golden goose. And
not necessarily, because if you look at how New England Patriots had their success, Bill Belichick was the head coach, but he also was the defensive coordinator. He ran the defense.
And how did he look when Tom Brady left?
Yeah, but that's when Tom Brady left.
But you had the greatest quarterback of all time, bro.
Yeah.
So
but also you had one of the most genius minds at offensive coordinator in Josh McDaniels. Now Josh McDaniels might be a shit head coach.
He is a shit.
But as an offensive coordinator, he is an offensive genius. Like
100%.
the way he can call plays. He perfected Tom Brady in the dinking and dunking.
Right.
And then we saw how he opened up the playbook when you get somebody like a Randy Moss.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
there's levels to it, though. You know what I mean? Like, you're talking about one instance where the greatest quarterback of all time had success with McDaniels, and then McDaniels went to other organizations and didn't have success, and it's a problem. You know what I mean? Like, we have to look at it as a real, like, Rob, this is the craziest fact I'm going to hit you with. And then we'll move to, obviously, we got to talk some NFL. Real NFL, because the Bears is out this joint. We was out of there stripping the clock at midnight on New Year's. But let me break this for you.
I'm going to let you break your point. I'm going to give you your point, and we can talk, because I got a point, too.
Check it out.
Yeah.
Two offensive coordinators on the Bears. Guess how long they lasted? The longest tenure since 2000.
A year.
They both lasted 2 years. Ever since then,
everybody
they've hired has lasted a year or less and has been a first-time offensive coordinator or just a dog shit offensive coordinator. The only one that had success was Adam Gase. Yeah. Adam Gase had success with Jay Cutler as like 2014, 2015. Guess what happened immediately after that, Rob? The man got hired as the head coach of the New York Jets. Now, that didn't work out. Same thing you talked about McDaniels, right?
Yeah.
But the point is, the proven cats aren't leaving the spots that they made their name to come here. They're going here to be a head coach. So when you talk about how we're going to get Justin Fields to that level, it's hard to when the next person you're going to hire is probably unproven.
But you think about it from this way, and this is my last point with it.
Yeah.
If I'm an offensive coordinator who's had a hard time getting a job as a head coach, wouldn't I want to go to a team that badly needs an offensive coordinator?
Of course.
And actually prove that I'm more than just a name, that I am a person that can help transform an offense into a juggernaut?
Yes.
Because everybody knows, if you're an offensive coordinator right now that looking at the Bears and in need of a job, you're kind of excited because you look at this Bears team and you say, they're getting there, they're missing something. Okay? They're going to possibly get Marvin Harrison Jr. in this draft. They're possibly going to keep Justin Fields. I'm glad that the Chicago social media page has been showing that Ohio State Clemson game to show you exactly who Justin Fields is as a player and the toughness and grit that he has. So if I'm an offensive coordinator, knowing you got DJ Moore, knowing that I'm gonna have complete autonomy to run this offense because the coach is more so defensive minded, I'm excited. If I'm an Eric Bieniemy, I thought Washington was gonna give me my chance to get a head coaching job. Let me get on the Bears team and we become a top 10 offense in the league and we're able to get this team back into prominence of winning the NFC North. I'm a head coach that following year.
100%.
And that's what I'm saying. You got to accept.
So here's the problem, though, right? Here's the problem with that. I want you just, Rob, I love you, but you right in my hands. Pause. Check this out. So Eric Bieniemy comes to the Chicago Bears, right? Let's say Rob and I are as lit as a Christmas tree on Christmas Day, baby. We got Marvin Harrison Jr., Justin Fields, DJ Moore, Cole Kmet, Eric Bieniemy. Oh, say God is real and Jesus is upon us and he gave us a real offensive line. Oh my good gracious, we're crazy. We're cracked out of our mind. We win a playoff game. Oh my God, the Bears are back. Justin Fields gets extended, right? Now Eric Bieniemy leaves the team the following year to be a head coach somewhere else. Okay, well, now what offensive coordinator? Now Justin's on his 5th offensive coordinator in 5 years.
It happens. This is the game of football.
It happens, but like you hear what I'm trying to like. The inconsistency of offensive coordinators is a problem with this team.
Not unless we can pay Eric Bieniemy.
We talk about, hey, listen.
You got enough.
I would make him the highest paid offensive coordinator, and I would make him one of the highest paid coaches. Without problem.
Paul George was crazy, but I'm sorry.
Paul George. Paul George. Hey, I gotta send you this Paul George podcast. We're gonna talk basketball a little later, but this Paul George podcast just came out the other day. I think you'll really enjoy it. It was pretty good.
He was talking about the dunk.
He was talking.
I saw it.
All of it. You saw it?
Yeah, he was like, man, I got stuck like a deer head. Like he was like, I thought I'd just jump out at it, which is what you do to somebody that's athletic. I tell people that all the time. You can't just stand at the rim and wait on them. You got to go meet them at the spot.
Right.
But like he said, as he was thinking about going to the spot, he's also bracing for impact because LeBron plays bully ball. And he was like, next thing I know, I'm stuck. And by the time I looked up, it was too late.
Horrible, bro. Horrible.
That's crazy. That man is doing that shit at 39. Bro.
It shouldn't.
That is crazy.
Shouldn't be real. I question, like, I feel like if you tap LeBron on his shoulder, bro, it just sounds like metal. Like that man is a robot. That man is not human. That man is the term.
That's discipline, man. That's discipline.
It is. It is. But man, listen, just like you said, out of nowhere, you looked up and you was stuck.
Yeah.
The Dallas Cowboys defense. In a span of 2 seconds.
Deer and fucking headlights.
Looked up and said, it's over.
How about them Cowboys, Lord G?
What was it, Rob? 27
Cowboys. I don't even have a problem with the Cowboys. It's just that you cannot deny the math that comes with the Cowboys. That sooner or later, the Cowboys are gonna start cowboying.
Yep. And listen, I wanna start the conversation a little different because we're gonna give Jordan Love his flowers. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Tony. I'm sorry, Tony.
No, we got to though.
My boy Tony, that's my ride or die over there. But he's bugging. I tried to tell him. Listen, as a Bears fan, I tried to tell him. Week 1, I saw that. Week 18, I saw that. Man is real. Man, hey, what's that wide receiver they got? Reed.
They got a couple of them. They got what? Christian Watson, Jaden Reed. They got
the other cat. Fuck.
You talking about for the Cowboys?
Nah, what's his name? Hold on. Because he was taking over for Christian Watson when Christian
Watson.
Talking
about Dontayvion Wicks.
Nah. Wide receivers.
That's the wide receiver.
They got what's bro's name?
Romeo Doubs.
Romeo Doubs. That was it. I like Romeo Doubs a lot. I like
they
Doubs.
Got a couple of great receivers on this team.
Yeah, they do. But here's the thing, right? 4,000 yards, an absolute monster of a season.
Yeah.
And Rob, no disrespect. I'm not disrespecting Jordan Love. I'm not disrespecting the package because you know what history's past has told us. But to be real with you, those are B- C list wide receivers. As they're not Tyreek Hills. They're not.
It's not Devontae Adams.
No.
Cooper Kupp.
well, Rob, we're gonna have that conversation. Next topic is Cooper Cup in that same conversation anymore, but we'll
Not
we'll
right
see,
now, but
we'll see what happens. Puka Nakua,
Puka.
but Puka's in that conversation.
Hey, Puka
Well,
about
he's
to
getting
get
there.
paid. Puka about to get paid. That's all I know.
My mom, but when I see Jordan Love doing this with a bunch of B-list guys, C-list guys, it's impressive, bro. You start to wonder, what if Devontae Adams never, got his way out of there? What conversations we'll be having right now? Is Jordan Love a not Hall of Fame? Is he a MVP candidate right now? If Devontae Adams is on this squad, like there's so many different
Yeah,
conversations, and I
I,
think
I,
it's
I,
scary, bro.
I know. I said this on my show last week when I was giving my previews. He walks around with a different type of, you know what I'm saying, confidence.
It's not forced. It's just he
It's
just
He's
feels
a confident dude, and
that.
I heard Cameron say this today on It Is What It Is. Shout out to Cameron and Mason, Stat Baby, whole Is What It Is family. Like his swag is like, I know I'm supposed to do this. Like, and maybe this because he sat behind Aaron Rodgers and actually got to witness, because people can say what they want about Aaron Rodgers. He's a great QB. He's gonna probably go down the top 15 quarterback of all time.
Mm.
Um,
You got him in
the
you think
the
top 5?
top 5? No,
Would you know?
no.
I have some
Aaron
people.
Rodgers,
A
you
lot
gotta
of people
win. You
have him
gotta
top.
win. You gotta win to be top 5. We
Right.
talking about Brady, who's won 7 rings. We
Yep.
talking about Mahomes, who's won at least 2 or 3. And shit, I don't even know if he's better than Dan Marino. And Dan Marino didn't win a ring at all.
Ooh,
So
I think there's a little Bears hate in that.
no, it's not. Aaron Rodgers is in the words of Stephen A. Smith, it's a bad man. And to me, he's one of the, besides Michael Vick, I would say for the white quarterback, he set the mold to be a mobile quarterback.
Right.
To me, like Aaron Rodgers was one of the first. Besides, maybe you could go back and say maybe possibly Steve Young. You know what I mean? But Aaron Rodgers is what I actually saw up and close, and that because he used to kill our ass every time. I mean, I think he owed my mama child support because he was our daddy
Man,
for years.
no cap. Only dad I had around in high school. Aaron Rodgers, man. Aaron
I
Rodgers
didn't
was
know
there
Aaron
for
Rodgers
my
was my
senior night.
dad. You know what I'm saying?
Aaron Rodgers pulled up to my senior night, said, "Good job, son." And then he
He's a
left. I said, "Damn, what the fuck?" I was like, "Was that Aaron Rodgers?" I said, yeah, it was.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe you could say top 10, but when we're
I was
talking about quarterbacks like Joe Montana, Tom
Peyton
Brady,
Manning.
you gotta put Peyton Manning in there. You gotta
Yeah.
put Pat Mahomes in that. And you gotta put like Steve Young in that. Like that's what I'm saying. And I ain't even talked about Troy Aikman and the other guys yet. So it's like when you talk about quarterback, it's been so many great
Drew
quarterbacks in the
Brees.
league.
Can't forget Drew Brees.
Yeah, I mean he's won a ring. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And Drew
Aaron
Brees,
won a
bro.
ring though.
But Drew Brees was like the record holder, dude. Like
Yeah, for like
he
5 seconds,
he
and then
was holding
Tom
like
came in.
right until Tom said enough is enough. But
Tom said, "This shit mine."
yeah,
Everything.
you got to imagine Drew Brees has none of the physical attributes that Tom Brady has,
Right.
and he was able to still put up those type of numbers. Like Drew
Right.
Brees is little compared to other quarterbacks in the NFL.
Yeah, I just think you get one ring out of it. The same conversation we have about Drew. We have to keep that same energy because Drew got a ring. Obviously, Aaron got a ring early.
Yeah.
What was that? 2011.
2011, they beat the
2011.
Pittsburgh.
Rob and I know our shit.
They beat the Steelers.
TCU.
I remember watching that game, man, because I sure had the Steelers to win, but
Yeah, no, I remember watching that game up until the fourth quarter, and then 11-year-old me said, "I'm going to bed."
I was heated. I think I was probably more heated than Kobe when he saw Shaq win his 4th ring.
Had to be, bro. Had to be. But listen, I personally,
but I don't want to take away from Jordan Love though.
Of course, I'm so sorry. We just went on a whole Aaron Rodgers thing.
No,
it's like the Pat McAfee show over here.
But with Jordan Love, what he proved was, first of all, he proved all the doubters wrong, because I had to admit I was one of those doubters.
Yeah.
Like when I seen him, I'm like, man, remember before he became a starter, he would come in on certain games and throw 3 interceptions. But I guess he never really got a time to get in his groove.
Right.
And to
he was never really an option.
Yeah, but to actually come in to do something that Aaron Rodgers or Brett Favre didn't do, which was lead the Green Bay Packers to playoff win
right
in that first season as a starter. Like lead them to the playoffs. Period. For them to sneak in like that, and because they did sneak in by the hairs of their chin. And I just gotta, I don't want to sound giving love to the Packers, but I'm showing love some love
Right.
because
No, most
Jordan
definitely.
because Jordan Love and to come in and do what he did against this Cowboys team, who a lot of people picked to be favorites to get at least to the Super Bowl. Dak Prescott had an MVP year, and he came in and outdueled Prescott
Yep.
like it was not like Prescott looked like the first year starter.
Yeah. And with that, bro, like we got to start having that real conversation because
Yeah.
I've said it for years, and I think it's one of the more odd ones. I think there's a couple of guys that get away with this year in
Yeah.
and year out, and it kind of pisses me off to be
Don't let
completely
it piss
honest.
you off.
No, like this shit kind of pisses me off. I'm not gonna lie, because we sit up here and we criticize Justin Fields and we criticize, Justin Herbert, we criticize Trevor Lawrence and a bunch of other cats after only a couple of years. But then guys like Kirk Cousins, guys like Dak Prescott, who have a job year in and year out with the same organization,
Preach, preacher.
do great. They do great in the regular season. Hey, here's 4,000 yards. Here's 30 touchdowns, maybe 10, 12 interceptions. Congratulations, I'm a Pro Bowler. But then playoffs come around and they fold. They fold like paper on a desk, flying that airplane, whoop, first round exit back to Cancun. And I'm trying to figure out why we never have those conversations about a Dak Prescott, about a Kirk Cousins. You look at Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson, the great head coach who is in the Minnesota Vikings.
Ooh, you preaching, boy. You
You gonna tell me
preaching.
that the Lions and the Packers are the last ones to win the division? Like, what are we talking about, bro? Like, it doesn't make sense to me to why we're at this point. And to that, I tweeted this yesterday, and some people got mad at me, but I said it's time to put Trey Lance in the game, like
Hey,
just to see,
look,
like maybe.
Skip Bayless had your same sentiment. I watched Undisputed Era because I was waiting to see how he
No,
was going to
I
talk
didn't
about
even
the
I didn't
Cowboys.
even go on that man's Instagram last night.
Oh, that was hilarious,
I
man.
know he was throwing
But
shit in the trash can.
hey, he threw everything in the trash can. Dak jersey went in the trash can. Cowboy hat, Michael Parsons jersey, everything went in the trash can, man. Shout out to Skip Bayless.
Shout
But
out.
hey, no, but what he did say was he's like, maybe it's time to see if Trey Lance can be the new Jordan
Maybe,
Love. Like
maybe.
you don't
Listen,
know. You don't know the magic you could possibly
right.
have on your bench because you still going with the old guard. Like
And be real, Rob. Like you, listen. Say what you want. You
yeah.
can say whatever you want. You do not trade for Trey Lance for no reason. Like
No.
they had a veteran quarterback who's proven to be a solid backup quarterback. They did not need another quarterback. Even Tony told me, "Hey man, that's a red flag if I'm Dak. Like that's a listen. We won't have a good enough draft pick to get a Caleb Williams, but we'll have this and say maybe."
Yeah.
So where are you at right now as it pertains to Dak? Because Dak even said, listen, and first, I want to say this. No shot at Mahomes. No shot at anybody else. This is just me spitting. I don't care what happened with Mahomes and Tony or any of them. Because honestly, at the beginning of the season, I was on Mahomes about Tony. But by the end of the season, I'm surprised he ain't killed that motherfucker yet. So with that, I loved what Dak said. Dak said everything right. When they talked about McCarthy potentially getting fired, he said, well, if McCarthy's getting fired, I should be fired as well. I should be in that conversation.
Oh, you had accountability.
Yeah, I love that. That's your
accountability.
QB1. But with that conversation,
But
that's a real
accountability is just
conversation.
not equaling up to the skill, man.
Right. But where are you at with that?
Like I think McCarthy and Dak are out.
Yeah.
Because Dak has proven, and it's funny you mentioned the Kirk Cousins, because he's proven when the regular season goes on, he's gonna give you pizzazz. He's gonna have you saying, "Oh my God, this guy is not the same Dak from last year. He's an MVP caliber player." And when those lights turn on, and it's time to really play in a game that has significance, he disappears, man.
Yep.
I mean, hey, I was about to call Harry Potter and say, y'all give Dak's game the invisibility cloak because I can't find it. I don't see it.
Man,
I mean, he threw back-to-back interceptions, one including in pick six.
Yeah.
I'm
Which
just
was,
like,
by the way, a great pick six.
It was.
Parting the red fucking sea, bro. On that right side, there was not a defender in sight.
It was crazy. Like I'm watching the game, man, and I'm watching like literally the Packers came, like it was like two teams came out, two completely different teams, right? And I know Packers and Cowboys are different teams, but
Right.
I'm talking about mindsets. Like the Packers were ready to play.
Right.
Like they were taking this game serious. They understood that you want to talk about if take advantage of my opportunity was a person or was a team,
Right.
it was the Packers.
Exactly.
And the Cowboys came in there like they were flustered, like they were confused out the gate.
Right.
Like they penalties, roughing the interfering with the fair catch, just common discipline issues that this team has been consistently
Right.
going through under the leadership of McCarthy. And then you look on the other side of it, my boy Matt LaFleur looked like I told y'all about Jordan
That's a
Love.
dog.
Nobody listened to me about Jordan Love, but I told y'all this boy for real.
Right.
And like the score is 27-7 going into halftime. And Packers barely squeaked that in. Like the brightest spot on the field for the Cowboys was Jake Ferguson.
Dude,
He was their only bright spot.
When I tell you, my boy me didn't get a chance to watch the game, right?
Yeah.
And I knew he didn't watch the game because
Yeah.
he went, well, it wasn't that bad. The score was what, 48-32? And I go,
it was horrible.
It was 27-0 at halftime. Like, what do you? This wasn't a back and forth game.
No.
This was the fucking Packers got bored and let them score something.
The Packers called it in. They was like, all right,
like they
the
didn't.
ass whooping is complete.
Like, it was what it was, bro. Like they were over it. They knew they did enough. But I think when you have that conversation about Dak, listen, I love Dak as a person. He's been so huge on mental health after the passing of his brother, which God rest his soul. The suicide prevention stuff he's done, what he's done for the community of Dallas, what he's done for his teammates. He's a great teammate and he's a great leader. But sometimes that's not good enough. Remember what Aaron Rodgers said that himself? Hey man, sometimes your best just isn't good enough. And for me to be sitting up here, I remember watching the changing of the guard from Tony Romo to Dak Prescott, and it was huge when Zeke was in his prime. You had them boys going after it, and it was insane. Like you were looking at a Cowboys team like we are now and saying, "Hey, man, this is the difference maker. They are here." And now you're in the same conversation 8 years later, Rob. 8 years later. And we're going to sit up here and talk about not one NFC championship, not one Super Bowl appearance. If this is Jerry Jones, the Jerry Jones who always says he's standing on business and does not accept failure, you've been accepting nothing but failure. That's what it's been. Now, I'm not sitting here like, Robert Griffin III saying bring in, Deion Sanders and Shador, but you got to do something, bro, and it's got to change.
But I will say this. As many teams need a quarterback right now, if they decide to bring in Trey Lance, there's gonna be a lot of people coming to Dallas to get that.
Yeah.
Because that, if you look at it, he threw for over 400 yards.
Okay, but
the 2 interceptions were bad, but he, by all intents and purposes, to me, the defense blew the game more than Dak did.
Well, can I say
like
this?
You allow them to jump out to 27 points.
Right.
And I'm talking about Aaron Jones scored 3 touchdowns.
Monster
game.
And
then Jordan Love throws for 3 touchdowns.
Right.
Like, if you really look at it, the defense blew the game.
But when I look at Dak, right, and you tell me, well,
Dak just didn't help the momentum.
But here's the thing, right?
Yeah.
When we have those conversations, we just like Kirk, we have these same conversations. Oh, he threw 400 yards, though. He had 60 passing attempts.
60. Yeah, that's crazy.
60. You better have 400 yards after 60 fucking passing attempts and CeeDee Lamb.
Crazy.
Like I can't look at that.
Throw 60 times. I'm looking at the stat now.
That's not a valid 400 yards to me, though. You know what I mean? Like that's just you fucking Aaron. Remember what we talked about the other day with I was talking me, you, and Pride. Remember Ryan Tannehill was like, yeah, fuck it. I'm just throwing it to D-Hop. That's like Dak. He said, fuck it. I'm going to just get my numbers. And so at the end of the day, I could say at least I threw 400. Like, bro, 60?
That's 60. Crazy.
You have Tony Pollard and you threw the ball 60 fucking times?
Well, Tony Pollard, to Dak's defense, he ain't been Tony Pollard this year.
He hasn't. But again, we knew that going into it because you franchise tagged a guy with a broken fibula. And he's a running back.
Yeah.
It's not a quarterback. It's not a fucking receiver. Like, The man whose legs are the most important to him on the entire field broke his legs. His whole lower body's over. And you were like, give him $15 million. What the fuck are you? What are we doing?
Cowboys got a lot of issues, and unfortunately, I've said this once and I've said it again. The only way I don't see McCartney going out of there is just because he's Jerry Jones' guy,
It's possible, yeah. It's
and
definitely possible.
and the Dallas Cowboys won't be successful. I'm not gonna go the route that everybody else says until he died. No, but if Jerry Jones doesn't learn to let people that's really like a general manager be a
Right.
general manager,
Learn
like
to let
people
go.
that's like learn to just be an owner, man. Sit
Right.
up in the owner box, collect your check. You know, you've done something amazing by turning this organization into a
Yep.
multi-billion-dollar organization.
Hat off
Like
to him.
you're not a football operations type of guy.
Right.
Let real operations people do what they do, you know?
Right.
And I think that by then the Cowboys will be okay. But
Now,
Jerry Jones won't do that.
with that though, Rob, we got to have a conversation. Because just like we need Jerry Jones to take a moment and freeze, Mr. Freeze himself showed the world again that he's him. Look at that stash. Frozen. Ice block. Boogers frozen on the stash. I mean, they're absolutely crazy. But this game right here, bro, this was
That game was crazy.
this game was supposed to be the game, the Miami Dolphins coming out party. That's what it was supposed to be.
I
You
don't
know,
know who
Mike
thought that.
McDaniels all year long getting talked about. You can't beat winning teams. Can't beat winning teams. Tua's out here talking real nice. Hey, I look like Drake. I look like Drake. You like my braids? You know, got Jalen Waddle going crazy. You got guys like Tyreek having an MVP season. But again, same conversation. Didn't beat winning teams. This was your moment. You're in the
Yeah.
playoffs. Let's change it. Let's flip the script. They get body slammed, Rob. Tyreek Hill in his homecoming in Arrowhead. What was it? Negative 15, 16 degrees?
Yeah,
Something
it
crazy.
was freezing,
Did you
bro.
see those videos of their beers? Just
Yeah, I look, I was cold watching the game, bro.
it was disgusting.
Like
I had
it
just got home from work myself. It was -1 when I was driving home. I couldn't imagine that. I couldn't imagine. Not one, and with the craziest part, not one hoodie on that offensive line.
it was somebody out there in the stands with no shirt on.
I saw that. That's
That
white.
man was a beast.
As a white man, I want to say that is like X Factor alpha white people shit. They don't get cold, Rob.
Yeah, he's from the mountains of Caucasus.
He yes. His name is Clarence. He lives at home with both parents. Like he's like that. He's like that. He can't play basketball, but he's like that. He can walk outside, take the trash out for you though in the middle of the night when it's 12 degrees though.
Hey, I was
Listen,
like, bro, I
it's
hope he
crazy.
don't catch pneumonia.
Oh, but just looking at him, just crazy. I know he went home with no nipples. That man gone. But Rob, the
Yeah,
return of Tyreek Hill,
yeah.
watch that man get bodied by Snead.
Snead was
I
on his ass. Pause.
presume, cause damn,
Oh
all
God.
it was
Hey,
on
nah,
that.
look.
That's the
I
assault.
watched this game, man. I don't know who thought that this was gonna be the coming out party for Miami.
Right.
Like Miami is Basura.
Yeah.
And I say that because they beat the teams they're supposed to beat. Miami not once beat a team with a winning record.
They are like the Dallas Cowboys.
They are of the AFC. Like
And
all
can
flash, no
we
pizzazz.
really quick? I know because me and you talked about this, and
Yeah,
it was very controversial.
yeah,
Cam Newton,
yeah,
rare W,
yeah.
deserves his flowers. He said there's 3 system quarterbacks in the NFL right now.
He said
Dak
4.
Prescott. Well, he said 4, but the main
But
ones,
Jared Goff won, baby.
yeah, the 3 he named were Dak Prescott, Brock
Yeah,
Purdy, and Tua Tagovailoa. And
yeah,
the only one I had a question about was Tua. I
yeah.
was like, nah, Tua makes plays. You know what I mean?
Nah,
But
Tyreek
then
makes
as
plays.
the season continued, I said, damn, Tyreek low-key the monster on the team.
Yes,
So does Cam deserve his flowers?
he does. He does. It's a
Now,
lot of people
Rob,
that
follow-up question
it's a
really
lot
quick.
of people that owe Cam I'm sorry, you're right.
But Rob, follow up. Does Cam still not deserve a job in the NFL?
He absolutely does.
You think he does still as a quarterback?
With some of the quarterbacks I've seen in the league, Cam can't do no worse.
I'll just
Now, if not, but that's only if Cam swallow his ego and say, "I'll be a backup."
right. Okay. I mean,
Cam could be a great backup. Now, I don't,
see, because when you say things like that, right? Not
yeah,
you, but when Cam says, Dak, I know you made over $100 million. I know you throw 4,000 yards a year, but you're a system quarterback. Tua, you're a system quarterback. Hey, Brock,
well,
you're a system. To me, I'm like, okay, Cam, now go get that job as a Dallas Cowboys quarterback one.
but
See what
but
happens.
that's different. I would take Cam in his prime over Dak any day.
But we ain't talking about Cam.
But that's what you got to compare him to.
Right.
Those great days of Cam are over and gone with, bro.
100%.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Because with his game, what Cam was really just trying to say, like, if you take his MVP year, you look at somebody like a Lamar Jackson, you look at somebody, maybe even sometimes like a Jalen Hurts. Sometimes
So
they
every
have the ability to literally will a team to do what they need them to do.
right.
And that's what he was trying to say. What he was trying to say is somebody like Tua, somebody like Dak, Jared Goff, Brock Purdy, you're a product of your system. The system is not a product of you.
Right.
You're a product of, like Tom Brady, that he's his own system. Because Tom Brady took the very same way that he played to Tampa Bay and they won the ring.
Right. Didn't matter who was with him. Well, it didn't. Gronk had to be there too. But
Gronk had to be there. But and also, I'm not going to sit here sleeping and say Mike Evans and Godwin wasn't there. But we also seen Mike Evans and Godwin with Jameis Winston, and the Buccaneers went absolutely nowhere.
Don't forget what did Tom Brady make Scotty Miller into?
Oh man, he made him almost the new Amendola.
The man was literally Julian Edelman without a beard. Like, hey, come on, bro. Tom loves making random white boys in the Hall of Fame.
That's what Cam was trying to say. When Cam played at his peak,
right?
He took the Carolina Panthers to new heights because of the things he can do in the way he could take over a game,
even
using his legs, being somebody that can just power his way through the hole. Stuff like that can mentally motivate a team. When you see your quarterback throw a shoulder at somebody, or your quarterback go out there and go get 30 yards on the scramble,
right?
That's completely different as opposed to somebody that I threw the ball to Debo and Debo ran that motherfucker 80 yards.
Right. Even when you look at
I get that.
Let's be real. Like, even what we've seen from Justin Fields, like Justin Fields at Clemson, at that Clemson game, that man said, "Fuck it, I'm taking this over." And then you look at Justin Fields last season, not this prior season, but 2 seasons ago, over the 8 games in the second half. Rob, I'm gonna name some names. Dante Pettis, is Byron Pringle, and Darnell Mooney are your wide receivers. The man was averaging over 30 points a game because he's Justin fucking Fields, not because of the system, not because of Luke Getsy, not because of anything else.
He had to take over the system.
Take over. He said, fuck it. This is what I'm doing. And I completely agree with Cam. I had to give him a little shot because I love
that's beautiful. That's beautiful. And I have to say, watching this game, I knew it was gonna be tough just because of how cold it was. I'm like, the only person that's gonna be used to this is Tyreek, but that's not Pat Mahomes throwing him the ball.
No, that is not Tua. That's Tua from Hawaii.
Yeah, and you got to remember, Tua is throwing some passes to Tyree that Tyree is not a hand catcher.
Uncatchable.
He's a body catcher.
Right.
You're gonna throw the ball here. He's gone. You're not gonna jump up like DeAndre Hopkins or Devontae Adams and snag something out of the air. That's just not his type of game.
Right.
And then on top of that, I don't say the Chiefs are out of the doghouse yet. I expected them to beat the Miami Dolphins. Like, Travis Kelce finally showed up. Rashee Rice has been their breakout receiver, had a great game. But then it also comes down to, can you survive like that, just throwing to these two guys? Because if you look at everybody else's receptions, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, like 1 reception. Giovanni's Tony, 2 receptions. Like, nobody was really getting the peel like that except for these two guys.
I'm surprised Tony got 1 reception. I wouldn't have threw him shit the rest of it. Hey, but Rob, you said who's back?
Huh?
You said
Travis Kelce showed back.
Gotta fight for your right to party!
Travis Kelce showed back up. Taylor Swift was out there with the custom Travis Kelce She was out
No
there
suit.
looking clean. She was out there swag surfing. I say, go ahead,
Hey,
Taylor.
you saw Mama Kelsey just.
Oh, the real, hey, they was kicking it. And shout out to Cal Juicic's wife. I hope I'm saying his name right.
I think so.
Is it Juicevic or Juicic?
I've never heard it like fully said.
Yeah, but shout out to his wife. She's the one designing all of those jackets and hoodies and vests that you guys see. So I saw she hooked up like my man's that played in Twilight, the werewolf. She hooked him up with a Detroit hoodie because I guess him and Aiden Hutchinson are friends.
Yeah.
So she hooked him up.
His name
Taylor something.
Taylor Lautner.
Yeah. So she hooked him up with the Detroit Lions Aiden Hutchinson jacket, which was that blue was cold. She hooked up Simone Biles with one for Owens and her husband who plays for the Green Bay Packers. And then she hooked up Taylor Swift and Pat Mahomes' wife, Brandy, with the custom Kansas City Chiefs. Man, them jackets was looking fly. I hope the NFL doesn't sue her. Because I know like they like to get petty like that.
Well, I don't think she puts the logos. I think she just puts
the logo on Taylor Swift. But at the end of the day, that's marketing.
Right.
It's Taylor Swift.
How much you think, like for her, how much you think that's costing her to make those jackets?
Oh man. Well, she's been, it looks like I actually saw her doing a design on Instagram, thanks to
this is good quality.
There was either Bleacher Report or ESPN.
Yeah.
But she's hand making those things. Like she's cutting up the jerseys. She's doing the sewing and the knitting and putting the leather. I like how she puts her tag on the collar.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To let you know, I think I forgot her name, Lisa Jusic or something like that. Design. Like I like that, man. I'm gonna get their name right because you know what I'm saying. I know we ain't getting paid to plug, but when I see something that's great work,
that's cold, yeah.
Like that,
I mean, hey,
she went crazy.
At the end of the day, bro,
I wanted Justin Fields.
Yeah, let's just wait a couple months and we'll see which team we get it for.
We got to reach out to her and tell her we gave her a huge shout out on.
Hey, here's our $100 deposit. Let's just wait and see what team he's on, and then we'll make it. She's gonna be like, if he's not on the Bears, you don't want it, and he's like, we're gonna be like, no, we want it. We're going with him. No matter where he go, we want
Fields. We want Fields. You hear Chicago, real Chicago fans right now. We want Fields. But no, man, I think Kansas City's still in trouble because if they got to play Buffalo or they got to play the Ravens, which I don't think nobody want to see the Ravens right now. You know what I'm saying? Or they got to play the Texans, and we're gonna talk about them. I got to see who I know. Buffalo. I mean, whatchamacallit, the Ravens. They play the lowest seed, so it's gonna be depending on who makes it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So right now it's looking like Ravens versus Texans. You know what I'm saying?
That'll be.
But if the Steelers
be the game of the year for the playoffs.
But if the Steelers by the grace of God beat Buffalo tonight, then you looking at Buffalo. I mean, then you looking at Pittsburgh versus
not to get into games tonight.
Yeah.
Obviously we got what 2 more teams to talk about. We're gonna fly through a couple of them. We got a game coming up. But are you seeing Kenny Pickett playing tonight, or has that been confirmed? Is it Rudolph? Is it Trubisky?
I think right now it's Mason Rudolph that's going to be playing.
Jesus.
But at the end of the day, even if it was Kenny Pickett, I have no faith in this team.
No, I just think Kenny Pickett, there was an identity with what they were trying to do. You know,
they actually look better with Mason. Have you been watching? The Steelers look better with Mason.
I was watching Kenny go crazy for a little bit though. Kenny was making some plays. I can't lie. I'm not a Kenny Pickett fan. I'm not a Kenny Pickett supporter. You know, but I saw him making some plays, and they were honestly on the come up right before he got injured.
Yeah, well, you know what they need to do, man. They need to talk to George Pickens and say, are we gonna get a George Pickens that we know can be a 100-yard receiver?
Yeah.
Or is we gonna get the George Pickens that just out here on the field for the sake of being out here on the field?
Like I said, bro has 1,000 yards this year, but just like Kirk, just like Dak, it's like, well, where are you though when it comes to winning games? But we're gonna fly through these last couple of ones. Eminem was in the building.
Yeah. Oh man, did you see the crowd did the lose yourself?
Shady. It was
Shout out to Shady, man.
bro. I mean, that's
Shout out
that.
to Shady, man. One of
Listen,
the rap goats, man. One of
yeah,
my favorite rap, man. People don't know this. Well, people that know me know. When I was younger, yeah, I love Jay-Z. Yeah, I love Lil Wayne, but I was a Shady fan, bro. Like it was certain songs, bro. I can rap word for word. I was a Shady fan,
bro.
bro.
Like
Chicka, chicka,
to
chicka,
this
slim,
day,
slim.
too. And you know me, a
I
little
did
white
a
boy.
twin baby. Hey, Shady used to go crazy.
Come on, like it's psycho, bro. They had to put Shady in a box, bro. They had to because it was getting a little too crazy. But
Nah, Shady is one of them rappers, bro. Ahead of his time.
yeah, no,
I don't
and
know if people was ready for Eminem when he came
even
out.
today, I don't think they would have been ready for him just because of what he was. There's only been one person I ever like compared to, and that was Juice World, just from a lyrical level. The way he thought, the way they and I love that they did a song together in Monster and Godzilla, and that was absolutely
Yeah,
crazy.
that was crazy. Now,
But
don't get me wrong, Lil Wayne. I know
Lil
Jay-Z
Wayne, the
the
coldest
GOAT,
motherfucker
but
too.
Lil Wayne is my GOAT. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I
he's
I used to
I have
get
Wayne,
ready. I used to get ready to school listening to Wayne. And, you know what I'm saying?
man. Rob,
Man, bro, I done
let me
had
tell you
many
something.
a good sessions listening
Rob
to
Scott,
Weezy F Baby. Please say the baby. You know what
Rob
I'm
Scott
saying?
driving down the block.
Hey,
2011. He sees a little white boy at the bus stop banging some headphones on his iTouch Nano. It was Mike Hughes. It was a little Mike Hughes listening to the Carter 2 on his way to 6th grade. I'm just banging.
ooh,
You
ooh.
know
Hey,
what we used to
boy,
do?
that
Yeah,
boy
hey,
Wayne used
you
to
know what?
go
Because
crazy.
we got a little time, I'll tell you this. And you know what? I don't care. Listen, respect to our military, respect to our vets. But I want you to know every single day from 3rd grade on to 8th grade, when we stood up every day, I pledge allegiance to the flag. I had my headphones in during that whole joint, and I was listening to the Carter 1 and the Carter 2. I'm sorry. Like, I was never, I don't know the full thing. All I know is President Carter, President Carter. That's all I know, baby. Wayne. But back into it, man. The game itself, Stafford's booed immediately coming into the game.
We knew it
Stafford
was
even
coming.
said, man,
Yeah.
what, bro? It's a Detroit playoff game. I expected this. It's no
Of
hate.
course, ain't no
And
hate. He probably still got love for the franchise. He understand that's what makes Detroit Detroit.
of course, hey, you want to know something, Rob? The only quarterback to win a playoff game or help win a playoff game in the last 30 years for the Lions is Matthew Stafford. Without Matthew Stafford, they
Right.
wouldn't have won that game because they beat his ass. But no,
Until last night.
24-23, man. We saw Calvin Johnson, Megatron in the stands. It was a beautiful game. I want your opinion. We're gonna do this real quick, and then we're gonna talk a little Stroud, and we gone.
Yeah.
We know what it meant for Matthew Stafford to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
We know what it meant. Which it solidified him. It put him in the Hall of Fame discussion. What did this game mean for Jared Goff to beat the team that said they were a piece away from winning the Super Bowl, and he happened to be that missing piece?
Vindication. To show that he was good enough. I want to talk about Dan Campbell for a minute.
Please.
Coach Dan Campbell to me is one of the greatest coaches right now in the NFL.
I would say top 2.
Fact.
He ain't 2.
I would almost say the best coach right now to
He
me.
ain't 2.
Dan Campbell is a leader you would want to play for.
Mm.
And when he went, he gave one of the game balls to one of the assistant coaches at the end of the game when they were in their locker room celebrating. And then he gave the ball to Jared Goff. And before he gave the ball to Jared Goff, he said, "You're good enough to play for Detroit. We want you." And you can just see the look of love on Jared Goff's face. Because as he was walking in the locker room, his teammates was chanting his name. They understood what this game meant to Jared Goff. Because that got to hurt your confidence a little bit to realize, I got my team to the Super Bowl. We lose. I take the blame for us losing. They get rid of me, bring in Stafford, and he wins it on his first try. On his first try. That has to be a blow to your confidence. But to get this vindication to say, okay, but I'm going to go to Detroit and I'm going to do something that hasn't been done in a long time. Not only am I going to win the North, I'm going to win a playoff game. And I'm going to beat your ass to do it. The guy who was supposed to replace me. You want to talk about a feel-good story in the NFL. This is why we love sports, Mike Hughes. This is why we love sports. The magic, the storytelling, the happy ending, and to see a guy like after Dan Campbell got done giving this speech, I felt like when Jimmy Johnson was giving this speech to the Dallas Cowboys at halftime, I was ready to go throw on the helmet and go out there on the field and go to work.
I wish that they would have heard what Jimmy Johnson had to say.
Because Jimmy Johnson had a heartfelt, if you do your job, we win this game.
And I felt bad for him while he was making that speech. You know why? Because I know those cats ain't listening. The guys in that building, McCarthy, Dak, I know they don't hear. They might say they hear him, but they don't. You know what I mean? You could feel it when someone feels it. And man, you spit when you talk about a storybook ending. Like when you look at Tyreek back in Arrowhead, that wasn't a storybook ending. That was a bad game. I'm not gonna lie. It was all around bad. 24-23. Matthew Stafford, the prodigal son. I mean, when I tell you, Rob, I could not name 5 guys who played on Detroit from 2000 to 2015 because they were just so bad.
Stafford and Megatron. That's
Megatron, Stafford, maybe a couple guys on that defense you could look at and say, okay. And listen, maybe Adrian Peterson just because he played there for like 5 seconds.
I forgot he played there.
For 5 seconds. But, you know, when you look at that.
Damn, I didn't even think about that.
You forgot about that one now.
And I can actually name 5 now.
Peterson was actually.
You got Goff, you got Amon-Ra St. Brown, you got Craig Reynolds, Josh Reynolds, Aiden Hutchinson, Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, Sam Laporta. Like, oh my goodness. Like, I could name players now on Detroit, Lord Jesus.
But our whole life, I knew Megatron. That was it. You know what I mean? I was actually at I was at Calvin Johnson's final game in the NFL, and it happened to be Matt Forte's final game as a Chicago Bear, like 2016. And Stat, you know me, like me and you have been doing shows together for years. And like when the Rams finally got him, I told everybody on ASAP, I told everybody in the world, the Rams are going to the fucking Super Bowl. And everyone called me crazy. Even when Joe Burrow and them boys, they still called me crazy. They said they got Burrow. I said it. Stafford's going to get one because of how long it was that bad. Now, unfortunately, he was on the wrong end of it this time, and it was very sentimental to him, I would imagine. And I'm not going to lie, as a competitor, you hate to lose, but you got to feel a little good to know that your boys finally won one. Yeah. And I love that for Goff, and I love that for Matthew Stafford. Now, I will say one thing. It don't mean nothing unless you get a ring, though.
You got to get a ring, but I will say, though,
you're in the right direction.
In Detroit's case, they going. I don't think it's ring or bust for Detroit.
I'm saying for Jared Goff, I think it is. Not for the Detroit Lions, but Jared Goff. Like when you have that conversation, Rob, we're about to get out of here, but I want to show you this because I sent it to the ASAP chat earlier. I know you and I talked about it, but just for this segment of the conversation, you look at what the package officially was. The Rams got Matthew Stafford straight up.
Mm-hmm.
The Lions have now received, because all of the draft picks, from my understanding, are now solidified, Jared Goff, Jameson Williams, Josh Pascal, pardon me.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't gonna lie, I can't pronounce this other motherfucker's name. Ifatu something. Jahmyr Gibbs, Sam Laporta, and Broderick Martin. Now, obviously, the big names there, Jared Goff, Jahmyr Gibbs, Sam Laporta, and even Jameson Williams at some point. You know, coming out of Alabama, he was a monster.
Yeah.
Now, you have created a great team through this. But on the other end of it, the Rams got the ring. So I would still say the Rams won this trade just because they got the championship out of it. Multiple playoff appearances. They got a championship out of it. The Lions, in order to win that trade, to me, need to go to the Super Bowl. That is their Super Bowl. Right?
I get you. That makes sense.
You know, the only Lions.
That makes sense. But and not to mention the Rams got lucky and got Puka.
Man, I mean, you talking about luck.
Puka,
I mean, I'm not going to say it's lucky. Yeah, I'm not going to call it luck because, you know, their scouting department probably did an amazing job. But the fact that he was in the 5th round is pure luck.
It's pure luck. That's like
nobody else saw
Rome Magunze in the 5th round.
Yes,
the guy from Michigan.
I would say
not Michigan. He played for Washington.
Yeah, I got that mixed up the other day too. Low key, Jim Cross called me out on that. I said he was at LSU. I was like, not that. But fuck it, I don't care. But
it happens. It's so many names in our head.
Rob and I are from Illinois. We don't give a fuck about no college football.
Hey, but before we get out of here, though, I do want to touch on the Houston game.
Let's get it.
Just because C.J. Stroud, ladies and gentlemen, a star has been born.
Him.
And C.J. Stroud is looking like him. Like C.J. Stroud is a dog. And I shout out to rookie head coach Miko Durant.
Hey, defensive head coach at that with a rookie offensive coordinator.
Oh my God, man.
With rookie wide receivers.
This dude, like, and he's another coach. Like when he talks, you like, I have a coach that cares about me and a coach that cares about this team. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can tell that he's given a lot of confidence to CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud is a humble man. Like every statement that he gave at the end, thank you, God. Like God has placed me in this position to do this. And you know, me being a man of God, I'm not a religious guy, I'm a spiritual guy. I was born and raised in the church, y'all. If y'all don't know me, they used to call me the ghetto church kid because I'll get home from church and get into hood activities. You know what I'm saying? But hey, I was, when I say raised in the church, you heard Steve Harvey's joke. I was raised in the church. I'm talking about Monday vacation Bible school, Tuesday Bible study, Wednesday choir rehearsal. I was one of them guys.
Was that one of them jokes that he stole from Cat? Sorry.
No, this was actually his joke. No, but all honesty though, like I went to a Christian school, you know what I'm saying, and that's one of the reasons I attribute to my foundation of knowing things like Martin Luther King Jr. Day and what it really means to us, because they would make us watch those videos and I would see protesters getting sprayed with water hoses and dogs being sicked on them and stones getting thrown at them. And Martin Luther King could have went ignorant, but he would still preach nonviolence. We are going to march and we are going to make it. So, you know, I attribute that to my foundation. So, like to see somebody like CJ Stroud be a man of God and be public with it and to show the world that, you know what I'm saying, you know, almost like how Tim Tebow was, which is why I was a fan of Tebow's.
Right.
Because it's not easy to be a man of God in a world full of sin. You know what I'm saying? So to see that and to realize that he understands that he ain't doing this alone, it's just real, you know? So shout out to him.
I had to take a second and write that down. He said, what?
Oh, hey, man, it's hard to be a man of God in a world full of sin. It is. That's a bar.
Rob got bars all day. Rob got bars. Chance the Rapper, take notes. Yeah, man, no, I completely agree on every. What the fuck is my dog doing up there? It's like a bomb went off. But yeah, I think
they probably cold. Hey, I would hate to have to walk a dog in this shit.
Oh, you know, the beauty of my dog, no disrespect, my boy Rizzo is the man, but he blew out his ACL.
Is that your dog name?
Yeah. That's my dog Rizzo, bro.
I like it.
It's an Italian household, man. Chicago Cubs legend. But yeah, he blew out his ACL a couple years back, and he's kind of overweight, so he don't go on walks no more. But he be walking around the house sometimes, getting into shit.
Yeah.
But to be real and to get back on CJ Stroud, man. I mean, CJ Stroud has done something that has been so unheard of on so many different levels. Not only being one of the best quarterbacks in the league, in the MVP conversation, undoubtedly, but watching what he's done as a rookie and coming from OSU, a school that everybody talks about as not being able to make real quarterback talent work. We've even seen Justin Fields struggle. We watched Dwayne Haskins struggle. We've seen so many guys come out of Ohio State and absolutely struggle at the NFL level. And CJ Stroud said, listen, my back's against the wall. Everybody's not even paying attention to me. Nobody's looking at me. They took Bryce Young over me. Okay, bet, watch this. And the man of God, God-fearing, who's doing what he's doing right now, he said, first and foremost, he is not a football player. He is a preacher of God, and he's spreading the word of God, and that's his most important foundation. So to see a young man, I'm not big religious guy, but to see a young man understand who he is in this world far more than just football, but to be able to capitalize that by making the best of every opportunity, I have to commend him on that. CJ Stroud has been an absolute animal, an absolute beast. He's my offensive rookie of the year, and honestly, he's somebody that I would say that is the MVP. Because when you talk about most valuable player, The Ravens, no disrespect. I'm not disrespecting nobody. The Ravens have a number one defense, undoubtedly. They have weapons. Lamar capitalized on every opportunity, and Lamar made plays, no doubt. But you take C.J. Stroud off of this Houston Texans team, and I promise you they got a top 3 pick this year. I promise you they got a top 3 pick. I'm sorry. No disrespect to DeMarco, no disrespect to Will Anderson, but they weren't there yet. They were not there yet. So with that, I just want to give my flowers to C.J. Stroud, an absolute dog, an absolute unit, a future MVP and likely a Super Bowl champion at some point in his career. I would love to see this continue, this momentum go. But right now, Rob and I are going to get out of here. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day as we conclude the following games of this week. Rob, we got Baker Mayfield versus the Philadelphia Eagles, potentially Jason Kelce's last.
Now, I know y'all saw that game winner from Dame Dollar. Hey, it's Baker time.
It's Baker time.
It's Baker time.
And obviously right now underway is the Buffalo Bills versus, Rob, I can't believe I have to say this, another year, Mason Rudolph in another playoff game. I can't keep doing this. Hey, Mike Tomlin, make it stop.
Shout out to Mike Tomlin, though. Shout out
Mike Tomlin, but make it stop.
Because trust me, I don't think any other head coach would have been able to get this organization to the playoffs. Trust me.
Not a shadow.
Oh my God, this dude Dawson Knox scored. I should have put him on my ticket.
No, you shouldn't have. He hasn't done shit all year, so that's an okay one. You have to be okay with that.
I can't be okay with that.
With that, we're gonna check you guys out later. We're gonna do another show this upcoming week. Don't forget, we ain't forget about the NBA. We got so much to talk about.
It's just right now it's playoff time in the NFL.
It is. We got a lot going on.
You got to talk about that, and I hope y'all know we are not one dimensional. We talk more than basketball. You know what I'm saying? But don't get me wrong. You know what I'm saying? As the playoffs start to bypass and the All-Star game, which is coming up February 16th through the 18th,
Indeed.
And remember, I've talked about it on my show. They're going back to their old school format. No more pickup games. It's going to be the top 5 starters from the East, top 5 starters from the West. The coaches and media chooses the bench players, and we go East versus West, the old school way. So hopefully that makes the game more competitive again. And as we know, after the All-Star season, the real season begins. Yes, after the All-Star game, the real season begins in the NBA. So it's time, baby. Like, we get into championship time, baby. Who's trying to go to where the champions play? That's what I'm trying to figure out. We trying to go to Title Town.
Yeah. With that being said, man, this is Rob Scott of Rob's 2 Cents. I am Mike Hughes, the Shy Kid. You can find us always on social medias at Rob's 2 Cents or the Shy.Kid. Until then, we'll be back on Welcome to Mars. Peace.